This is Dawn Must Follow Night by Hunter Danson. Part 1, Chapter 34. Read by the author. Cataclysm, black, convergences. These were words used to describe something that was altogether beyond language and thought. How does a mind contend with the infinite when it itself is finite? Why is the idea of nothing so hard to comprehend? Was it even possible to describe a thing that was, well, not a thing? These thoughts chased themselves through Gwen's mind, colliding and tangling, then wrestling free over and over. She had lost track of time shortly after stepping into the chamber, and when the oil lamp ran out, all memories of the outside world seemed to go with it. Now there was nothing. She tried to peer into the blackness, not knowing what she was expecting to see, but she saw, well, nothing. The students had tried talking to each other at first, but once the light dwindled out, the black descended on them and isolated them from each other. It just seemed wrong to speak. At one point, she thought she heard footsteps and the rustling of clothing, and when she stretched her arms in front of her, the other students were no longer there. She got up herself and wandered around, looking for a wall, for something or someone to hold on to remind herself that this was temporary, that this was not all there ever was and would be. She remembered coming to the castle as a girl, after the plague took her parents. Her uncle in Aldor had taken her in, but he was mean and beat her for the smallest mistakes, so she left. By the time she reached the castle, she was dehydrated and footsore. Meredith and Hystis nursed her back to health, and then Gwen stopped. She could not remember. She put her hands to her temples and closed her eyes. Meredith and Hystis, what were those names? Even as she recalled her memories, they slipped away. She tried not to think about anything, but it did not work. The black kept taking them, pulling them out of her mind. She forgot how old she was, why she was here. Who am I? She wondered, vaguely aware of some horrible danger. She ran like a rabbit caught in an open field. It was after her. It wanted her. It was hungry. If she could just flee to somewhere else, somewhere safe. The nameless girl ran for her life. Her legs pounded on the ground, but the world whirled underneath her and she did not move. The great black circled above her, watching its prey struggle in vain. One more for the collection, one more for the appetite. Nothing smiled and dived out of the void and plunged its sharp talons deep into her flesh. It carried her off into the black and she became weightless. She screamed, but no sound emitted. She contorted, opening and closing her mouth, realizing there was no air to breathe. Her entire body shook as her skin froze solid. Now there was only pain. Icy, boiling hands worked their way through her veins and pushed outwards with immense pressure. Her mind sublimated into wisping thoughts and images, sucked up by nothing as quickly as they came. Her soul twitched in the last throes of death. The light left her eyes, and she disseminated into the black. Nothing licked its lips. End of Part 1.